Thank you. Let us be seated, please. You're all looking a bit too serious for me, don't you? Can't you smile or laugh? A smile and a laughter is better than an applause. But you can applause again so that we hear you. Your Excellency, Ursula von der Leyen, my very, very good friend, President of the European Commission, Your Excellency Michael Martin, Prime Minister of Ireland, Mr. Hugh Evans, the CEO of Global Citizens, all of you distinguished guests and viewers from around the world. From the outset of South Africa's G20 presidency, we said that this would be an African presidency. We said that we would strive to bring the priorities of our continent, Africa, to the center of global dialogue. It would be a presidency that advances solutions through genuine collaboration and partnership. On the eve of the G20 Leaders Summit, which opens tomorrow here in Johannesburg, South Africa, it is a privilege to join you all for the culmination of a year-long effort to expand energy access across the African continent. Africa represents the ultimate energy Pandora box. We have some of the world's most abundant renewable energy resources, as in solar, wind, and hydro. Yet, some 40% of Africa's population has no access to electricity. This energy poverty impacts nearly every facet of life, from clean cooking to access to medicines, to quality education, as well as to economic activity. The scaling up of renewables in Africa initiative was born of the need to expand energy across the continent. We support an energy secure future for Africa that harnesses the human and technological potential of the continent. Over the past year, through the G20, South Africa has advanced the action plan for clean cooking supported off-grid energy solutions. We have promoted the principles for clean, people-centered, just energy transitions. Today, we call on all partners to build on this momentum, and the momentum it has been. Let us ensure that the progress we celebrate today is felt in the daily lives of the ordinary people on the African continent. Africa's vast potential must be harnessed for the benefit of its people and indeed of the world. Through decisive action and global solidarity, we can accelerate Africa's clean energy revolution and create enduring opportunities for all the people of this beautiful continent. I thank you, and I want to thank you for your presence here. It means a great deal, not only to me and Ursula, it means a great deal to the people of Africa. Thank you for being here.
So, thank you very much. I want to thank you, dear Nomzamo, for introducing us, and dear President Ramaposa, my dear friend Cyril, dear Hugh, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, today we come together to power Africa's future. And the case is compelling. First, it's a matter of dignity. Around the continent, as you said, Cyril, 600 million people still live without access to electricity. This must change. We need to invest in energy urgently so that children can do their homework after dark. Families can keep food fresh and medicines cold. Communities can feel safe after nightfall. And this cannot wait any longer. Second, it is also a matter of sustainability. Around the world, the clean transition is in full swing. And we must ensure that all continents seize the benefits. Let me give you some figures. Last year, $2 trillion were invested in clean energy, but only 2% went to Africa. While, as you said, Cyril, there are huge opportunities in Africa for sun, wind, geothermal, hydropower, for new low-emissions fuels, and also for investments in grids, in storage, and other infrastructure that tie the energy system together. And this means safer jobs, sustainable businesses, and a healthier planet. This could become the growth story of the 21st century. And Africa can write it. This is why we're here tonight. And my friends, my third point, this is also a matter of economic opportunity. Africa is a young, dynamic continent with vibrant communities and fast-growing markets. It has natural resources in abundance. This creates enormous investment opportunities in clean energy, which in turn will power economic growth. Because it means Africa's entrepreneurs can get online, it means skilled jobs and stronger industries, and it means more opportunities for Africa's young people. For all these reasons, investing in Africa's energy future is the right choice and the smart choice. And Europe has already made its choice and major investments in clean energy for Africa through our Global Gateway Investment Strategy. Modern power grids, transmission lines to rural areas, batteries to store renewable once the sun goes down. And we are creating new opportunities for the private sector to get involved, because no one can do this alone. So governments, banks, private investors, philanthropists, all need to work together to make every euro go further, to make projects move faster, and to make the transition fairer. And that's why 1 year ago, we together launched this campaign, Dear Cyril, Dear Hugh, and it is working. Since then, Team Europe has already pledged 3.1 billion euros to support electrification, to modernize power grids, and to expand access to renewable energy across Africa. Because access to clean energy access to clean energy means more power. It means possibility. It means prosperity. And it means progress. So, in a moment, I will announce Europe's new pledge. But first, the stage belongs to others. Thank you, and I hand over to you, Hugh.
Thank you, Madam President von der Leyen. Thank you, President Ramaposa, for welcoming us back to South Africa. Ngiyatanda South Africa. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Siyaphela lapha isiZulu sami. Africa's renewable energy future is one of the greatest opportunities of our generation. This continent, as President Ramaphosa and President von der Leyen mentioned, has the solar, wind, and hydro resources to power entire regions. and a young, dynamic generation of people ready to drive the next frontier of clean energy. That is why global citizens across Africa and around the world have spent the past year taking action to call on world leaders to invest in scaling up renewable energy across the continent. Actions that will show us all today the progress we can make when we work together. This means governments providing investment capital to be used to de-risk projects and hedge currencies, investors bringing capital and scale, and entrepreneurs willing to make the establishment of renewable energy businesses their life's passion, and millions of global citizens around the world pressing for faster action. And over the past year, global citizens took more than 1.4 million actions urging greater investment in renewable energy in Africa, and their voices have already been helping to drive extraordinary results. Over the past year, this campaign has already announced that 4.6 million households are now set to gain access to clean energy, nearly half of our goal of reaching 10 million households so far. These commitments will drive real economic opportunity for youth across the continent, gigawatts of renewable power, and millions of new people connected in their homes. Today is our chance to turn that momentum into measurable impact, and that impact into sustainable power for schools, for clinics, for businesses, for households across the continent. And we're going to begin our Scaling Up Renewables in Africa pledging session with messages from champions across government and multilateral banks. Please take a look.
Secure, affordable, and clean energy is the key to progress and to a good life all over the world, the key to economic growth, prosperity, and security.
Expanding the supply of clean, reliable, and affordable energy is essential to improve the lives of millions in Africa.
Green energy means cheaper, more reliable energy for hundreds of millions of people in Africa. This is smart economics.
Energy means everything. It means schools that function, hospitals that save lives, businesses that are created, agriculture that produces, young people who stay and build the future of their nation.
Africa needs access to power, and together we can provide it. Sweden is answering your call. Clean power drives growth and job creation. It will help to make Africa stronger and more resilient, and it will help us all to keep the planet healthier.
Since its launch last November, we have invested nearly €200 million and mobilized another €100 million in projects that bring affordable and clean energy to communities across the continent.
That the European Investment Bank is pledging more than €2 billion to scale up renewable energy across Africa over the next 2 years.
Também em Portugal, essa é uma prioridade. E também na nossa cooperação com vários países africanos. Temos vindo a apoiar, nomeadamente, projetos de reconversão de dívida em investimento de transição energética. Temos vindo a apoiar a construção de barragens e também pequenas comunidades.
We have provided over €2 billion in support to the Scaling Up Renewables in Africa initiative in the form of low-interest loans, guarantees, guidance, and grants.
As a nation, Italy has mobilized financial instruments, industrial expertise, and technological capabilities to support Africa's energy transition, for a total value of almost €2.5 billion.
Between 2026 and 2030, we expect to increase our green financing by over 55%. And we aim to mobilize at least €3 billion for sustainable energy infrastructure across the continent.
Please welcome Ireland's Taoiseach, Prime Minister of Ireland, Taoiseach Micheál Martin. In conversation with CEO, activist, and chair of Global Citizen
Hello, everyone. I am absolutely delighted, particularly as a Canadian, to be sitting here with the Irish Prime Minister. As you might know, Canadians are quite fond of the Irish. And Prime Minister...
A lot of Irish in Canada.
A lot of Irish. Well, you just told me a really great story why, and it's a really good story of welcome, but we don't have time for it today, so look it up, okay? It's brilliant. And what a way to kick everything off. Like, the conversation so far has been absolutely exciting. I hope you've all learned something today and taken something away that you can carry on to conversations you're having tonight with friends and peers. It's a really important day. Prime Minister, we are speaking at a time when Africa holds the key to the world's renewable future, yet still receives just a fraction of the global clean energy investment. Ireland's own energy transition has transformed the country's trajectory, and today's commitments could change trajectories for millions more. So if I can, I'd love to begin with what Ireland sees as its role in turning the moment into a real, tangible action.
Well, fundamentally, Ireland has undergone a significant transformation in terms of renewable energy, particularly onshore in the last 2 to 3 decades. Sometimes now wind can account for close to 50% on a given day in a given month, not all of the time. Our next big play will be offshore wind. We hope to do 5 gigawatts by 2030, but 37 gigawatts offshore wind by 2050. And what's interesting is the integration of renewables into the grid has been something that Ireland has worked very hard on, and we've been quite effective from a technological perspective in doing that. So if in that way, then many people originally were skeptical about renewables and so on, or when the wind doesn't blow and so on, but we've worked hard at the technologies around underpinning the renewable as a component part of your energy mix. No, we still import too many fossil fuels, so we want to replace that over time, and the key will be renewables. And we work in Africa a lot. Our development aid program is about 1.7 billion now, goes most of it into Africa. But we work with many individual countries. We work in renewable Lesotho, for example. We work in Sierra Leone, Mozambique, in terms of delivering and supporting financially renewable projects. And wind does work. Now, in Ireland, we're very windy. We've one of the windiest locations in the world, but we're now turning wind into energy.
And it is extremely ambitious. I think it's actually probably Europe's biggest project, isn't it, in that sense?
I'm not sure. I mean, there are others quite as big as well, to be fair. Scotland is quite strong in the United Kingdom, and we learn a lot from Scotland. The big issue is cross-fertilization of ideas, know-how, and capacity. I was just at a function earlier with companies involved in the renewable space, and it really is about sharing knowledge, ideas, in terms of how to get the grid upgraded and so on, the connection to the grid, extremely important. And a lot of companies have developed a lot of niche technologies to facilitate the integration of renewables in a sustainable, secure way for the long term onto the grid. And that's something that I think the G20 and this initiative can unlock, if you like, that fertilization of ideas, cross-fertilization of ideas. That really is the big. And of course, then the European Union and Ursula, as announced, given the strength, the European Union commitment has been very strong here. Ireland is a member state of the EU. We're strongly enthusiastic about the Commission's approach and direction of travel, but also the redevelopment banks. We've heard some of them, the EIB, reconstruction banks, the World Bank. All of those, we need to really look at the model of how we can release additional capital to facilitate the investment in Africa.
No, that's brilliant. Cross-fertilization, I like that term. And great collaboration. And to that point, Ireland's renewable transition, especially in offshore wind, has moved incredibly fast. Were there key policies that unlocked that progress? And I'd also love to ask, how can those lessons be adapted to support African countries in their own terms, not just a copy and paste type model?
Regulatory certainty is very important, and legislative certainty, so that the investment community know the landscape, not just today, but for the next decade. And we had to learn a lot on that journey, and still are learning, and we continually talk to others who are doing it also to pick up ideas. The planning process. And what is key is to bring communities with you. In the early days, people kind of went ahead without dialogue with the local community because there can be issues. And there has to be a community gain. So in all our wind farms now, there is a community gain for the community, which can manifest itself in sporting facilities, community facilities, enhancements to the public realm in a given location. That is important. Likewise, in terms of the offshore wind developments, we're working on that now. The other issue is governments need to engage in genuine partnership with private sector industry. For offshore wind, in my own office now, we've established what we call a clearinghouse to bring industry in to, if you like, to enable them to have a go at us and say, look, if you could only do A, B, and C, we'd be doing this faster, or here are the pitfalls. And look, government has to protect the citizen, of course, but that idea of not having a gulf or a barrier, the shared objective is the same. Renewable energy will help climate, helps purify the air. I mean, it's a public health win, which doesn't often get said enough, in my view. And so therefore, there's an agreed agenda here in the overarching sense. But the working through of that does demand a lot of engagement between private sector and the state and the public sector, between your planning processes. They need to be streamlined, made more effective. And that we still find that challenging. So, you know, one has to learn all of the time on this journey. But what is absolutely clear is we have to do it in as quick a way as we possibly can, because the world can't wait and the planet can't wait.
Absolutely, and I love that it's a people-first type way of thinking, because at the end of the day, you know, we're doing this for people. People are at the heart of the planet, right? So thank you so much. That was brilliant. Everyone, if we could please give the Prime Minister another round of applause.
Thank you very much, Anita.
I think we should just give the Prime Minister one more round of applause if we can. And what a way to kick off this pledging summit. Seriously, what a great conversation. Now we have two more, like this is all happening in real time, everybody, European governments who are showing the way. I am delighted and pleased to announce on behalf of Austria a pledge of 5 million euros in new clean energy projects contributing to Africa's renewable future. So please, another round of applause. And it doesn't end there. On behalf of Denmark, an exciting commitment of 80 million euros to support green industrialization, jobs, and growth for a secure and strong Africa. What a show of leadership, especially from the public sector, because as we know, the private sector is also central in driving Africa's clean energy transition. So I'd like to say thank you very much to the Taoiseach for your thoughts and Ireland's leadership. We know that in addition to governments, the private sector is going to be absolutely central to driving Africa's clean energy transition and ending extreme poverty in our lifetime. And in today's global geopolitical climate, we can no longer rely only on official development assistance or traditional foreign aid. The world has changed. Our challenges have grown more complex, and the scale of the opportunity has grown with them. That's why we need new, ambitious investors. We need cross-sector collaborations. We need innovative partnerships that can move with urgency and deliver the impact that we need at scale. Because on issues as critical as energy access and climate resilience, incremental steps simply aren't enough. Global organizations, many of them represented in this room, remain among the most powerful multinational forces we have. When their innovation and financial muscle join with the entrepreneurial energy of Africa's markets, we unlock something transformative. We unlock new projects. We create jobs. We accelerate access to affordable, clean electricity for millions of people, powering homes, powering businesses, and powering the next generation of African growth. And to begin our next series of private sector pledges, we're joined by a leader who sits at the intersection of finance, development, and African possibility. So if you could please help me welcome the CEO of Harith General Partner Sifu Makubala, who has helped shape some of the continent's most transformative infrastructure investments, not just financing them, but also financing futures. So please, a round of applause.
Your Excellencies, distinguished leaders, partners, and friends, it's an honor for us at Harith to stand in front of you today and be part of this scaling up renewables energy in Africa. At the moment, we could not be prouder to be here and deliver on the mission of building infrastructure across the continent, which we've been doing for 20 years. For 2 decades as Harith, we've invested right through the continent, Mr. President, all the way from the north to the south, and our story really is one of reaffirming what we are about as South Africa and as a continent as we take this new bold step. And so today, we are proud to announce that we'll be scaling up our energy capacity output from 1.5 gigawatts to 5 gigawatts over the next 5 years. We are equally confident that our current pipeline is bankable and expanded, and a big chunk of that will support just about 850,000 households, giving families and communities dignity, productivity, and an opportunity to have power like all of us sitting right here. And importantly, a conservative estimate, we're at least confident that 25% of what we will do will be completely out of clean, renewable power projects, demonstrating our commitment to cleaner energy and more sustainable energy future. But beyond that, Your Excellencies, and behind the numbers, it's people. For us, these are us, you and us, our children, who this investment is going to give hope to as we make Africa's future brighter. So for us at Harith, we are all about ensuring Africa's economies have the adequate energy to industrialize, that we can all build businesses that we are proud of, and give our young people a future to look forward to. And with that, I'm proud to ask everybody, including our peers, including the private sector, to join us in this moment as we accelerate providing clean energy across the continent. With that, I thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Please welcome CEO of Inatrag, Republic of South Africa, Dr. Enos Banda.
Your Excellency, President Ramaposa, my brother, on October 5, 2019, I made you a personal commitment to contribute to our energy future. Excellencies, President Ramaposa, President von der Leyen, and distinguished guests, today it is my greatest honor to join global citizens and partners to fulfill that promise by committing Inatrag South Africa to introduce 1.2 gigawatts in renewable energy investment, estimated at 32 billion rand, or 1.5 billion euros. This is part of the Scaling Up Renewables in Africa campaign. This is the equivalent in electricity of electrifying 800,000 homes or supporting the energy needs of 2.8 million people. This commitment will deliver clean energy to meet South Africa's growing energy needs, advance our country's global trade position, and protect critical jobs, first in Mpumalanga, while also serving as a leading catalyst in South Africa's green hydrogen economy. Our contribution to the energy transition is not only just, but also intended to firmly announce South Africa as a key nation in global clean energy competitiveness. Thank you.
Please welcome back CEO, Octopus Energy Generation, Zoysa North Bond.
Distinguished guests, it's an honor to join Global Citizen today as we accelerate access to clean, affordable energy across Africa. I'm Zoysa North Bond, the CEO of Octopus Energy Generation, a clean tech pioneer. Across the world, Octopus's mission is simple to use technology and innovation to deliver affordable, clean energy for everyone. We reimagine how energy works from generation to grids to smart flexibility. Technology and innovation we see can drive down costs and increase efficiency and unlock huge opportunity. Today, through our new Power Africa initiative, we will unlock $250 million plus an additional $200 million for renewable generation projects dedicated to Africa. Together, this $450 million will help scale smart solar and wind projects targeted at unlocking the continent's growth potential. This investment will deliver around enough power to 1.1 million people, the equivalent of an entire city like Mombasa. But beyond the numbers, it represents growth, jobs, lower energy costs, and shared prosperity, turning abundance potential into reliable power for millions across Africa. We're proud to stand with Global Citizen and our partners in this vital mission, and we call on innovators, investors, and governments everywhere to join us in scaling renewables across Africa. Thank you very much.
Please welcome back Executive Vice President for Projects and Investments, Genesis Energy Holdings, Melissa Fazai Sikwila.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, and fellow global citizens. My name is Melissa Fazai Sikwila, Executive Vice President for Projects and Investments at Genesis Energy Group, a proudly Pan-African clean energy infrastructure development company and climate impact investor committed to lighting up Africa one community at a time. Today, we stand at a decisive moment. The Scaling Up Renewables in Africa campaign calls on all of us to be bold and act now. At Genesis Energy, we are answering that call. Today, I'm incredibly proud to announce that Genesis Energy is committing to developing and deploying up to 10 gigawatts of clean energy renewable across Africa over the next 10 years. This represents an estimated 8.5 to 10 billion US dollars in future capital deployment for renewable energy access and climate-positive infrastructure across the continent. Each year, this commitment will deliver over 500 megawatts of clean energy, reaching more than 33 million people and households with reliable, affordable power. It will create up to 250,000 construction jobs and tens of thousands of long-term jobs, prioritizing African talent, especially women and young people across the entire value chain. Through our strategic partnerships, we are positioned to scale rapidly and deliver meaningful impact in underserved markets across Africa. Beyond the numbers, this is about transforming communities, powering hospitals, enabling small businesses, and unlocking the clean energy future Africans deserve. But no single company can do this alone. So today, I call upon my peers across the private sector and our enablers within the public sector. Join us, invest with us, and stand with us as we light up Africa, one community at a time.
Please welcome Chief Regulatory Officer, Cross Boundary Energy, Tessa Lee.
When you go 10 times down, you go rise 10 times up. Sing along. Can you hear this song? If you hear this song, get your kicks.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, it is wonderful to be here to recognize the collective progress we're making towards a clean energy future for Africa. At Cross Boundary Energy, our mission is to decarbonize African industry and unlock unprecedented economic growth on the continent. On the eve of the G20, we're not just making promises, we're scaling proven results. From baseload from the sun for Africa's largest copper mine, to Madagascar's first wind turbines, Cross Boundary Energy is already powering African industry. We are developing, constructing, and operating a combined portfolio of over $795 million in line with our commitment to reach $1 billion in operation and construction of renewable energy projects by 2030. That track record has created powerful momentum, with $200 million additional of senior debt capital committed from lenders and new partners this week. We're positioned to unlock $1 billion in renewable energy projects by 2030. That will remove the single biggest barrier to productivity of African businesses. As Africa's energy markets become more distributed, governments, development partners, and investors must jointly advance the necessary regulatory building blocks and ensure sufficient access to capital. In so doing, we can create a future where every African business has access to reliable, sustainable, and affordable power. Thank you so much.
Please welcome Global Vice President of Public Policy and Government Relations, Sun King, Wale Aboyade.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, it's an honor to join Global Citizen and partners today to help renewable energies transform lives across Africa. I thank the organizers, the South African government for hosting this event. It is a personal pleasure to be back here in South Africa, where I consider my second home. My name is Wale Aboyade, and I'm the Vice President of Public Policy at Sun King. Sun King is the world's largest off-grid solar company. We design, produce, distribute, finance, and make available standalone solar systems for households and small businesses across Africa and Asia. We have direct operations in at least 11 African countries, and this is growing, including right here in South Africa. Today, I am proud to announce that Sun King is committing to deliver additional 50 million new off-grid solar systems by 2030. This will bring clean and reliable electricity, 3.8 gigawatt worth, to additional 200 million people across the African continent. This will also require deployment capital of around $5.6 billion over the next 5 years. This is huge. To put it in context, it is 2/3 of the Mission 300 goal and 1/3 of the SDG 7 goal. Your Excellency, you'll be glad to know that South Africa is included in this ambition, and we hope to reach close to 1 million people here in South Africa. So Why off-grid solar? It is the fastest and cheapest way to reach hundreds of millions of people still living without electricity. More than 200 million Africans already use solar home systems, or these off-grid solar home systems. And most of them are low-income households. So solar is growing across Africa, and it's certainly growing in South Africa as well. As many of you might know, you might have solar in your homes. The thing in South Africa is that it's mostly for those who can afford it. So we must somehow ensure that solar is affordable for poorer communities as well, and those communities are not left behind. And that is Sun King's commitment. We know we're able to do this because we are the largest company that's been able to scale pay-as-you-go financing. And this financing method is one of the reasons why off-grid solar works for low-income households. We go door to door, even in informal settlements, in the rural areas, remote areas, and we offer flexible payment solutions and plans that are very often supported by government subsidies. And guess what? Customers are repaying. They're paying for these systems all across Africa, from Malawi to Kenya to Nigeria, and even here in South Africa. Our repayment rates are so strong that we've been able to successfully securitize them with top banks, including ABSA here in South Africa and Citi. So what gives us confidence that we can deliver on this ambition? It's our track record. We have already deployed 28 million systems, more than half of this goal, that has already reached 100 million people in Africa. We are now at the stage where we're delivering over 300,000 systems each month, more than double what our pace was just a year ago. Investors have believed in our model. They're backing us with significant capital. We've been able to raise close to $1 billion already, including a $156 million securitization that I spoke of earlier, which was the largest of its kind in Africa. But we cannot do this alone. So to governments in the room, fiscal incentives and smart subsidies have been essential to scaling off-grid solar, and we look forward to deepening partnerships. Your Excellency, you'll be pleased to know that even in South Africa, we've been in constructive discussions with South Africa's Department of Energy and Electricity to partner under the Integrated National Electrification Program. To donors and investors, if you want impact and returns, you can't go wrong with Sun King. We've showed that we can deliver. And to all other partners and everyone, we welcome your support, we welcome your collaboration. Join us to power communities, to expand opportunity, and to help end poverty, end energy poverty in Africa once and for all. Thank you.
Please welcome CEO Scottic, Terje Pilskog.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's an honor to join Global Citizen and partners today to advance the just energy transition across Africa. As Scatec, a Norwegian-based international company, we believe affordable, clean, reliable energy is the foundation for sustainable economic growth in emerging markets. And our journey started right here in South Africa, with the nation's first award of the utility-scale solar PV in the Renewable Energy IPP procurement program. And Kalkbult, our first project, came into operation in 2013. And since then, we have channeled $3.3 billion of investments across Africa, of which close to $2 billion in South Africa alone. And today, we are proud to say that South Africa is at the heart of Scatec's global renewable energy activities, with over 6 gigawatts in operation and under construction globally. And our goal is to invest $500 million of our own equity by 2030 to expand renewable energy solutions across our markets worldwide. And this will unlock in the range of $5 billion in total investments and close to 10 gigawatts in additional sustainable and affordable energy generation. And the majority of this will happen in Africa, especially in South Africa, Egypt, Botswana, Tunisia, and also through our released platform markets. And this includes, amongst others, Chad, Cameroon, and Liberia. And out of this, we have already secured new projects of 4.4 gigawatts. This is of solar and 1.3 gigawatt hours of battery storage capacity to be installed on the continent over the next few years. And in South Africa, we have already committed $1.4 billion to bring 1.1 gigawatts of solar and 500 megawatt hours of battery storage online also over the coming years. And through these projects, we will power 1 million households. We will avoid 3.5 million tons of CO2 annually and create at least 10,000 construction jobs at peak, driving economic growth and energy access. The projects we have built showcase to the world how ambitious and stable policy, private capital, and international partnerships can work together to deliver results. And we call on the private and the public sectors to join us in scaling renewables across Africa to enable economic growth and a more prosperous future for all of us. Thank you.
Please welcome President, African Development Bank Group, Sidi Yulta.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at the African Development Bank Group, we have always put energy at the center of our action. Recently, the African Development Bank Group, in consultation with the African Union, the European Union, but also in partnership with the World Bank and other partners, have launched the M300, which is Mission 300, with the objective to provide electricity to 300 million Africans by 2030. This initiative takes into consideration not only the generation of power, but also policy reforms, support to transmission system, and distribution. This initiative is also a strong partnership with the private sector, whereby the private sector, the African private sector, and the international private sector will work with multilaterals and government to deliver on this mission. So far, 29 countries have approved their compact, and we do commit for providing first access to electricity to 50 million households in Africa by 2030. Currently, we are advancing to the pledge, the session pledge of the ADF 17, which is scheduled to take place on 15 and 16 of December in a few weeks. And the ADF is the largest concessional window for development finance in Africa. And we are hoping that this replenishment will be successful, and not less than 20% of the replenishment funds will be devoted to the energy sector. Thank you.
Please welcome actor, comedian, philanthropist, and producer, Sivungesi. And actress, DJ, entrepreneur, Pearl Tusi.
I got money to pay for attention.
Molweni.
Sanbonani.
Awusemhle phela, awusemhle.
I'm trying, babe. I'm wearing an African designer. It's Tongoro Studios. I feel good. You don't look half bad yourself, babe. It's always an honor to share the stage with you.
Always a pleasure sharing with you, my
Thank
friend.
you so much. And thank you to everyone who's here to make a difference on this planet. We appreciate your presence as well. Now, every day across South Africa and across the continent, thousands of students struggle to study after dark. After-school programs fall silent the moment the sun goes down.
And in hospitals, a lack of reliable electricity means doctors and nurses can't treat patients at night or safely store medicines and vaccines. Too many people without essential care.
It is a very painful irony. Africa holds 60% of the world's best renewable energy resources, yet more than 600 million people still live without dependable power.
Students can't study, teachers can't prepare lessons, lives are lost. Entire communities are denied the chance to build a brighter future.
And this is the challenge that Global Citizen is Scaling Up Renewables in Africa campaign is tackling. Closing the energy gap and unlocking the continent's energy or clean power future.
Renewable energy creates jobs, strengthens health systems, and helps families build better lives. With simple changes, we can transform millions of futures, proving what's possible when clean energy powers schools and hospitals.
And over the last year, we have seen real progress, I'm so excited to say. On stage at the Global Citizen Festival in New York, President Ursula von der Leyen announced a 545 million euro in clean power projects across Africa at the Global Gateway Forum in Brussels. Then she announced a further 618 million. A round of applause for that.
That's good, that's all the way. And the private sector stepped up as well, making commitments that will provide more than 20 million people with an access to renewable energy by 2030.
2030 is just around the corner.
Yes.
And that is proof that when citizens speak up, what do leaders do, Siv? They listen. We need to keep speaking up.
Tonight, we've heard impactful pledges from government leaders, multilateral banks like EIB, EBRD, and African Development Bank, and from private sector champions like Harith General Partners. But this work is far from finished.
With the final pledge of the day, please welcome back European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. A round of applause, everybody.
Thank you very much, dear Pearl and Sif. Ladies and gentlemen, we can be so proud of what we have accomplished together. This afternoon, we saw governments, private sector partners coming together behind our common goal. We've heard some amazing numbers. And I want to thank all governments, all business leaders, all financial institutions for their contribution to the campaign. A big round of applause to them. They answered our call loud and clear, and I'm very grateful for that. Now, I promised that Europe will make a new pledge for this campaign. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to pledge on behalf of Team Europe an additional 7 billion euros for renewables in Africa. This is basically Europe standing with you, now and in future. And now I would like to ask you, dear Cyril and dear Hugh, please join me on stage for the final tally of our campaign. Welcome back. So, what a great journey. So many partners. And now it's time to take stock. Ladies and gentlemen, counting all the contributions made since last November, it is extraordinary. The world has stepped up for Africa. The final tally of our campaign is 15.5 billion euros in total. And now, in addition, you heard it, commitments announced will generate almost 27 gigawatts of clean power and will bring renewable electricity to 17.5 million households. Fantastic. Thank you so much. This is extraordinary. The world has stepped up for Africa. The world has stepped up for Africa, and this campaign shows what is possible when we all come together. When you think about what this means for young people, for families, for businesses, for communities across Africa, this is more than funding. This is power for millions of people, fuel for progress, and this is hope for the future. Thank you very much from my part. Thank you so much. I give the floor to you.
Well, well, well. Thank you very much, Ursula. I had occasion to be in the same room just 2 days ago. And this was when the B20, that is the business side of the G20, were meeting here. And I told them that as I walked through into the room, I could smell money. But I must say, tonight, I can